Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Bruce Lee documentary, A Warrior's Journey. So I picked it up from Amazon, and here is my unboxing of it. But I got this for the princely sum of about £4. That was with the postage. It was from Amazon. You can get it for £12.99 off Amazon, but I decided to go down and see if there's any sort of like used ones, and there was one for £1.90. So I got that with some P&P. So I took around about £5. Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey. Let's see what this is. It? Yeah. So it was loose. The disc was loose, but that's all right. It's got a little bit of, unfortunately, that's one of those ones, it's got a bit of, it doesn't really matter if I'm honest. I only want it for the movie. The movie itself looks like, what a mess that is. I don't know if this is going to pick it up, but this is really badly scratched. Now, what I'll do is I want to watch this immediately anyway. I can't believe that might have been caused by that, if I'm honest. I'll put it through its paces. I'll see what it's like, and if it plays well, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll have to get back in touch and say, look, this is not acceptable. But whatever happens, I will buy this. So here it is, and I watched it fully. I can't believe that this thing plays right, because when I saw it, as you can see from the previous video, and obviously that is a problem as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the disc out and put it in a plastic sleeve and put it back in there. This is probably one of the worst ever looking scratched DVDs I've ever seen in my life. And when I saw it and things like that, I thought there's no way that that's going to play my player. But I watched every single second of it. I haven't watched the commentary on here, which I do want to watch. So for me, this plays perfectly, crazily enough. So when I got the Amazing Arrow box set, I went looking for this documentary on there and couldn't find it at all. Now, it usually is found on the Enter the Dragon disc. So I had a look on there, and it wasn't on there. So I had a look on my other Enter the Dragon, which is there in the medium rare set, and it wasn't on there. So I'd done a bit of homework. I knew I had this documentary somewhere, and I found out that it was on the 2003 version of Enter the Dragon in the UK. And also it's on the 2008 version, and it may be still on the Blu-ray for the American release. It's like an extra on there. You get 4 documentaries on, but on this one, you only get 3 documentaries. And on the other one, you get 3 documentaries. Also, as well, I checked out the Blu-ray on here, which has got special features on. It's got the 3 documentaries, but not the 4. So if you wanted to get this with the Enter the Dragon disc, you can get it on DVD, but it's got to be a certain DVD. So if you buy a Enter the Dragon DVD version, maybe from CX, do have a look on the back. And when it says about 4 documentaries on, this being one of them, then you have got this one on there. But if you wanted to buy this one, I bought this one off Amazon. It was about £2. I don't know why it was this cheap, but saying that, it does play, so it does do what it's supposed to do, but I wish it was in a better condition. You can buy it new on there for £12.99. I haven't seen this one in the shops for a long time, but I do highly recommend it. Now, what's it all about? Now, this movie here, this documentary, is 1 hour 40 minutes long. I think you can find a version on YouTube, but it's not 1 hour 40 minutes. It's more focused on the game of death. And what it does is, this game of death here, it does have a 40-minute redo of the footage that they got for the Bruce Lee Game of Death that wasn't shown on the Game of Death original one. I don't want to get too confusing with this one. So to recap, Game of Death has about 11 minutes of the yellow tracksuit in it. The revisited version has about 40 minutes of it. And this one here has about the same cut. Now, this 40 minutes documentary there is slightly different, or the revisited one is slightly different to this Warrior's Journey. Now, the Warrior's Journey, I'll put some screenshots on of bits and bobs you can see of it. It's pretty good. It tells basically the full story of Bruce Lee, and it does a really good way. It's really entertaining. And for me, if you don't know much about Bruce Lee and you want to know more about Bruce Lee and the Game of Death in one go, pick up this one if you can find it. It usually does around in CEX, although I haven't been looking for it, but you can buy it on CEX. I think it's only about £5, and it's highly recommended. But it has got something exclusive on here I want to talk about, which is a bit weird. I can't remember even seeing this, but wow, it's quite different. But first, this one, I would say, if you think about the final game of death, which is absolutely incredible, it's one of the best things I've ever seen about Bruce Lee. This focuses purely on Game of Death. And it tells the whole story about Game of Death. It tells you about everything that's missing. Although it's not the complete movie, this is the fullest version as of yet of the Game of Death footage. Now, this movie here, what it does is it has that documentary on. It's got some really good documentary stuff. It's got, bits from like all over like Bruce Lee's career. It tells a great story about his whole life, a life story. And it's got the picture quality on here is quite good. It's square frame because it was probably shot for TV. And to me, this is such a good watch. Now, the thing that I find on here that's different, I don't know if that comes up in the camera there, but it's got a thing there that says 18 minutes, the story. It's a documentary. Now, this documentary on here, it's not really well done. In fact, it's quite laughable because it's supposed to recreate the footage that is not seen in any of the Game of Death movies that you've seen thus far. The true story of Game of Death. Now, in this one, it does say that it doesn't know what the story was going to be. So this 80-minute featurette, the story, does purport to tell you what footage would have been shot if Bruce Lee had completed the movie. It's quite fascinating in a way, but the character of Bruce Lee is played by a fella who looks nothing like Bruce Lee. In fact, in the pictures when you see him, you think, who's he supposed to be? Oh, it's supposed to be Bruce Lee, and he's got short hair. Well, in this movie, he's got long hair. He should have, if he just had long hair, it would have been you'd have been halfway there. And what it does is, with the aid of just recreating these sort of bits and pieces of story that it stays, it tells you all about the backstory of what would have happened if they'd shot the whole film. Obviously, there would have been some extra fight scenes in there, but they don't show any fight scenes. They just do bits of the storyline to start from the start of the movie till he enters the pagoda, and you'll see him and his gang going in there. Now there is 5 people in there, including Bruce Lee, and yes, 5 people were meant to go into this pagoda to fight the various bosses in there. So that's quite true. And actually, it was great to see that. It could have been much better done, but I really liked that documentary. Now, if you think about it, you could watch that documentary, then you could swap over to the final game of death and put on the Bruce Lee segment in there when he goes into the pagoda and you see that whole fight scene. And you can kind of recreate that would be 40 minutes, that would be 58 minutes. Actually, no, that would be 50, that'd be over an hour of the actual game of death, if you include that as a kind of bit of exploitation, if you will. So I find this documentary to be a great companion piece to the movies that I'm talking about in Bruce Lee. And if you're somebody who's bought the Bruce Lee box set and you're thirsty for knowledge on Bruce Lee and you think, well, you don't know about this one, I would love this to have been included on the Enter the Dragon disc. Unfortunately, it wasn't because this one's been pressed quite a few times without this documentary on it. It might be a rights issue, which I doubt it. It was on the Blu-ray for America and the Blu-ray for England, but it's just been kind of took off there. This is a thing that happens with Bruce Lee stuff. You do find yourself looking at some new versions of the movies and you think, hang on a minute, I'm sure there's more stuff on here, or I'm looking for this particular thing and it's not there anymore. So as a companion piece to the Bruce Lee box set, I find this to be a really essential buy, actually. You get a great 140 minutes documentary. You also get that 80-minute story, which you can cobble together with the final game of death if you wanted to do that. The commentary on here is by the director, John Little. And if I'm right in thinking, John Little was the fella who voiced the scenes in Enter the Dragon where Bruce talks to the monk, and I couldn't find his voice, but I think they have found his voice for some parts of that clip, which is incredible actually. I know it's a shame that most of the stuff that Bruce Lee filmed when he was, especially the ones in China, he didn't actually record any of his voice. It was all done like silent, and it was just overdubbed at the end of it, which is a bit of a shame. You also get in here, you get Ode to an Artist, a music video, which is quite a good montage of footage on that one actually. Yeah, so not bad. It's a Region 2 DVD and it's square framed as well. So that's it. I just wanted to bring this to the attention if you don't know about it and you want to just get some more stuff to do with Bruce Lee. Sometimes you can pick these Bruce Lee things up and they're just absolute rubbish and they purport to be these brilliant, never seen footage, never seen this, and they big up themselves Bruce exploitation style. But this one here does deliver on every level. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.